All right, welcome to today's media conferences. We have LSU representatives up here on the dais. We have Flau'jae Johnson, Mikaylah Williams, Aneesah Morrow, and we have Coach Mulkey. We'll go ahead and start with Coach Mulkey. A reminder to please raise your hand when you have a question, identify yourself by name and media outlet, and we'll get a microphone to you. Please direct all questions into the microphones if you can. We'll start with Coach Mulkey, and when we've exhausted questions for Coach, then we'll go to student athletes. All right.
Hi, Coach. Alexa Philippou, ESPN. You guys obviously met NC State earlier this season. How would you say both teams are different from November and where they're at right now?
Well, I wouldn't say the style of play is any different. We're not going to create new players. I think both teams are obviously better, and we just have a lot of respect. We don't look at the previous game. We just think that we're both trying to advance to an Elite Eight, and we don't really even think about that game. We talked about it once or twice. We've looked at some film, but they're better, we're better. They're ACC champs. We finished third in the SEC. They're supposed to win. They're the 2 seed. We're the 3 seed.
Hey, Coach, Wolfpack Sports Marketing, Radio, Ernie Myers. How has the SEC prepared you in this season for this moment here in the Sweet-16?
I just think the SEC is unbelievably tough. We still have, if I'm correct, 6 teams left. And to me, that speaks volumes. We have a league that has different styles of play. We have a league that has unbelievable talent, individual talent. And I think all of us, not just in the SEC, but across the country and other leagues, we're all kind of relieved when you get a chance to go to the playoffs and you don't have to see each other again.
Eden Lassie, Hoops HQ. You mentioned how both teams have gotten so much better since the beginning of the year. NC State's posts in particular have really developed. What have you seen on film from them that has impressed you or that you guys are going to have to, sorry about the microphone, you're going to have to watch out for?
Well, I'm sure their posts have developed and are better, but they have 4 outstanding guards, and they're not going to change their philosophy and all of a sudden become a post-dominant team. So we know what their strengths are. We know what their improvements are. And we're going to try to win one more game. You know, they shoot the ball 15 threes in a game. I don't even know if we shoot 15 threes in a game. But we have great post play, and we always have had great post play on the teams I've coached throughout the years. So I don't know that it's an advantage when you reach the playoffs. A lot of people tend to think guard play is the team that advances with great guard play, and we feel like we have a balance of great guard play and post play.
Hey, Kim. Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. I was talking with Bob Starkey earlier, and he was telling me that you, more than any other coach he's been around, kind of has a great feel for when and how to motivate a team, like when to dig in and when to pull back. I was just curious how you developed that through your coaching career, or if you feel like that's sort of carryover from being a player, how exactly you developed that?
Well, Bob has coached with some unbelievable coaches, so for him to say that about me, it's flattering, it humbles me, it makes me feel good. It may just be my experience having been a player and the great ones that I played for, Leon Barmore, Pat Summitt, Teresa Grantz, Fran Garman, the list goes on. I think that maybe being a player and knowing what motivated me and the time of year and what you need to do on challenging young people and then loving on young people, maybe it's just who I am, and I have a good feel for the game. But yeah, thank him. I'll thank him when I go to the locker room.
Coach, it's Reed Darcy with The Advocate. Coming off consecutive 100-point games, I wanted to ask you, what has it been that's allowed you to attain that level of offense to start the tournament?
Health. They're healthy. Flau'jae's here. Morrow's here. They're all playing very good basketball. They're excited. Everybody's looking to score. They're looking to share the ball. I just think just having everybody back and everybody healthy, and it's fun to watch them right now.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. Kim, you talked a lot about finishing in the last games, especially. What goes into being able to finish? Raising your level of finishing. For Samaya and Aaliyah especially, they had really good nights around the basket.
You have to keep coaching. You have to keep demanding. And I think our practices do that. And you have to understand there are going to be down moments throughout a season. And yet you don't get too high or too low, and you just keep coaching them. I think the players around Aaliyah, the players around Samaya can make them better more so than a coach can. Give them the ball in positions to be successful. Don't ask them to do things they're not capable of doing. And you saw the last couple of games, just the sharing of the ball, the confidence that everybody has in each other.
Aneesah, question for you. I was just curious, how do you think your career has... Oh, we're still doing coach? I'm sorry.
No, let's go with Coach questions for now.
Hey, Coach. Jacques Doucet, WAP TV in Baton Rouge. I've talked to you a lot about your different coaches over the years. Tell me about Shantae. What are her responsibilities? What does she do for this program? She's worked with you for 6 years.
Actually, Shantae was the first graduate assistant that I hired when I was at Baylor. And she was with me for a little while. Then she went other places. She was in the WNBA a little while. Then she's been with some other coaches. What's the name y'all give Shantae? Y'all call her like a auntie. So I guess that's a great description. Shantae does a little bit of everything. She helps with travel arrangements, doesn't do as much on the court stuff because we have plenty that do that. But you can ask Shantae to do anything, and she's capable of doing it. She's very loyal. She understands me. She can help recruit. She was a recruiting coordinator at another university when she was there. So she's kind of done it all. And she just wanted to come back closer to home, Texas being her home. And sure, I'm glad we have her.
More questions for Coach?
Sorry, I think I missed it, but I think you were asked about, the improvements for both teams. And in what way is NC State, are you seeing them being visibly better than the last time you faced them?
Physically better? Visibly. Oh, visibly, I'm sorry. Just, they've played together a while. Those guards just have unbelievable range. Those guards can dribble, penetrate. They have to rebound, as guards, because they usually play their four guards together. They've won games on the road that were tough games. They were in tight games. They made the plays to win those games. Well coached. I've known Wes a long time. And he now gets to coach alongside Will Wade. We all know Will when he was at LSU. So other than when we play tomorrow, I'm always pulling for Wes Moore. He is a great guy.
Got time for one more for Coach. We'll go right here.
Noah Fleischer from the Wolfpack on 3. You mentioned Will. What?
You jumped at that. You weren't going to say anything or ask any question until I gave you something to talk about. All right, Go ahead.
You mentioned Will. What was it like just working with him and just seeing him, operate as a coach?
I was with Will only 1 year. He treated me with the utmost respect. When I got off that airplane and took the LSU job, and before the press conference, he and Paul Maneri were the first two people to hug me when I got off that plane. And to me, that showed respect. And he is going to be totally different personality than Wes, but he's a winner. If you just look at it, he won at LSU, he won at McNeese, and I would imagine he's getting ready to wake the Wolfpack up and win at NC State.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll dismiss Coach, and then we'll turn questions over to student athletes. Thank you. All right, a quick reminder, if you would direct your questions to individual student athletes, that would be easiest, and we'll turn it over.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge for Flau'jae first, and then Aneesah, if you would. Just the idea of finishing and you guys distributing the ball was really evident in your last game. How much more fun is it when you're getting your teammates involved, especially on your runoff passes that you're making and letting the girls finish?
Definitely fun. Just something that I seen that we was missing. Like when I was hurt, I was like, okay, we gotta like just make some changes, and I think everybody just bought in, and I think for me it's been easier just to play, just to see everybody winning. Like that's what basketball is about. That's how you win championships, and that's the business that we're in.
Aneesah?
I would say for me, I was extremely happy for Samaya. Just being able to get off, like when one person eat, everybody eat, and that's one thing that I pride myself on. And if I could put my teammate in the right position for a great pass for them to finish around the basket, that's something that I would do over making a shot myself.
Jacques Doucet, WAP-TV. If I could ask you young ladies to follow up Coach Mulkey talking about Shantae and what she does with you guys. Are academics a big part of what she does with you?
Mikaylah, let's start with you.
I mean, Coach Mulkey pretty much covered it. Yeah, she does academics for us, so we basically go to her for whatever we need, and she kind of relays that message to Miss Carroll. So,
Aneesah?
I would say for me, I feel like every relationship is different when it comes down to Auntie Shantae. When I first got here, she was the first person to take me out to like dinner and have a conversation with me, actually get to understand me as a person. I feel like I could come to her when it's not involved in basketball, which is a good thing.
Flau'jae?
I gotta fix these mics, but for real. But nah, yeah, I feel like on a spiritual tip, like she's like we all said different things, but like spiritually, me just building my relationship with God, she's been there. And she just like auntie, like if we out of line, she gonna come tell us. And she kind of just keep it like, Coach Mulkey's super serious, right? And then you got like everybody, they more playful, but she like, okay, don't play, like she coming, like, you know what I'm saying, on that tip. So she kind of just keep the balance.
I don't know who can answer this the best, maybe who has the best relationship with Miracle, but just what does this game mean for Miracle being closer to home and having her family be here?
I think I could speak to that coming far away from like where I grew up. It's sacrifice. It shows selflessness.
It helps if you lean into it.
Okay. She's just selfless, and she come in and she work hard every day, and you get to see that on and off the floor, but her being able to play in front of her family is going to mean a lot.
Aneesah, how do you think that your career up to this point, starting in Chicago and then now the last 2 years at LSU, have led you to this moment where, you know, this is kind of it for you and this is when legends are made?
I would say just growing up on the south side of Chicago and my parents sacrificing so much. I was just thinking about this morning while I was brushing my teeth, actually. And my parents just sacrificed so much for me. And I try to be as successful as I could be to give thanks back to them for as much as they sacrificed for me. But honestly, I want to be that person that either could be a mentor or somebody that I look up to, that to show them that it's possible. You might come from places where you might feel like you have a disadvantage or you're not able to accomplish things that God have for other people, but you can. It just comes with consistency, putting the work in, and just being yourself.
This question is for Flau'jae, Ernie Myers, Wolfpack Sports Radio. How do you, you already won a national championship, and I was wondering, what team in the SEC NC State reminds you of as you look back? And also, how do you manage your basketball with the celebrity and everything else and your focus on the game? Because you obviously can do that because you balling out. But how do you do that?
Okay, first question. I feel like NC State probably remind us of like Tennessee. I feel like they play 4 guards, right? They get up and down, can score the ball really well, has a dominant post. So, yeah, I would say they remind us of like Tennessee and the SEC, and Tennessee was a great team. We only beat them by single digits every time we played them, so you got to kind of have that mindset. We don't look past nobody, and we don't. Just because we won last time, Coach Mulkey always say it's hard to beat a team twice. So we're just going in with the mindset of just being the most prepared team. And, speaking of, like, just doing my music, like, a lot of people ask that question, like, how do you stay focused? But, like, I'm not focused on my music. I'm not focused on my podcast. I'm not focused on none of this stuff. I'm focused on winning a national championship. Because if I win a national championship, then I can focus on everything I want to. You know what I'm saying? So I just know how to use my time. I know how to focus. I'm not on social media right now. Like, I'm letting my team handle everything, and I'm just focused on the task at hand. I'm trying to win.
After the game the other night, all 3 of you said, we're going to stay on Samaya and tell her that it's not going to stop here. We expect that from her every night. How's that going this week, preparing her for this game and to keep her, a big force for you guys?
Yeah, I think she understands how much we need her. I've been with Samaya since my freshman year. So, like, we was going at it for, like, 2 weeks. I didn't even think she talked to me for a week after some stuff I said to her in practice. But it's like, we know this is what she's capable of. Like, we know we can throw the ball up above the backboard and she gonna go get it. You know what I'm saying? So I think she now feels more confident, and that's what we need her. We don't have to say nothing else to her, for real. She knows what she can do. We just keep pouring into her. Niece pour into her that confidence. I always tell Niece, you need to get your post together. So I think, she's done a good job with, like, just giving them confidence.
Alexa Philpott, ESPN. Flau'jae, maybe Aneesah, you can chime in on this too. Being here now at LSU for this many years, but this group is special. This group has its own kind of dynamic. So what do you feel like this group, like what separates this group from other teams that you've been on, and why do you think you guys can use that, whatever you have, whatever's that secret sauce to go back to the Final Four?
I would say we're like a team coach team. Flau'jae could get on me. Mikaylah could get on me, and I could get on them, and don't nobody take it personal. We hold each other accountable, and we accept the challenges that we have for one another, and we set a standard, and we don't lower that for each other.
Yeah, I just think we're just a really good group. I've played with All-Americans on like stuff like that, like with injuries, but I never played with like 2 All-Americans. And, like, it's just different. Like, they make you want to be better. That's why I feel like this dynamic is so different, because you really get a challenge every day in practice. And I think, I don't know, I never seen, like, 3 dominant people, like you would say, like, alphas, like, work so well together. And we don't have egos. Like, we all pull for each other, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all on the same like, we all want to win. And we know that this is Niece's last year, and so we all just kind of take that personal, like, and just knowing and having the Final Four experience, I just try to tell them all the time what it was like, how I felt, what it feel like we're blessed to be one of a couple of teams that still get to play. Like, that's a blessing. A lot of teams are gonna be watching us play. Like yesterday, G was like, a lot of people don't get to practice today. And I don't know, I just kind of thought about it different. Like, we really are just grateful. And it's just, we have 3 players that can buy in, everybody else buys in. So it's just up to us.
Hi, Ainsley Anderson, KHQ. This is just for whoever wants to weigh in on it, and it's a little more general, but have you guys seen and felt a shift in the atmosphere and attention received in women's sports, specifically women's basketball, over the last few years? And if so, kind of what's the biggest change you've seen?
I think the biggest thing is that people are actually like paying attention to women's basketball. I think we're finally getting that platform to show everybody what we've been doing this whole time. I think, like what the TikTok said, we had the plan, we just needed the platform. So I think I think we just needed the platform, and now we finally get to showcase all of our abilities and talents.
I ain't gonna lie, that money. No, I'm just kidding. No, for real though, like we getting paid, for real. And I just think it's so cool. And then for me, it's like looking at the little girls that's gonna come in way after us. Like when we go to the WNBA, we might not get those multi-million-dollar deals, but think of the high schoolers and the young girls. They gonna grow up and they gonna be having those deals. And it's gonna be a whole shift. And it started with something that we're doing. So that's why you gotta play the game with some type of intensity and passion, just because it don't end with us. Like we just trying to leave it better than we found it.
Yeah. Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. Flau'jae, this one's for you, but Aneesah and Mikaylah, if you have input, I'd love to hear from you too. On the note of Kim being sort of a unique motivator, from the outside we see a very intense personality on the sideline, but LSU as a program has had lower attrition into the portal than a lot of other programs, so she can obviously keep teams together. I'm curious what it is about her as a motivator and a team builder that you think makes her different from other coaches or other coaches you've seen. And again, Aneesah or Mikaylah, if you have thoughts as well, I'd love to hear them.
I think Aneesah could speak more to this because I've only played under her, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it's just like she keep it real. Whether you like it or not, she gonna say what's on her mind and she gonna stand on that. And I think that's the realest thing, because when you look at it at the end of the day, everybody just want to be pushed to their best abilities. Some days you might not like it, what she got to say, but most of the time you like, she kept it real. And I think she just teach you to hold yourself accountable, and you can just take that throughout life, not just on the basketball court. And so I think, you know, if you really sit down and really take it in and reflect and not be bitter about what she says, you would be like, wow, like, this gonna help me in life. So I think she just keep it real, and people like that. Whether they hate it in the moment and like, I'm about to leave, bro, I ain't with this. You always come back because she just, you know, she's genuine, she real.
Yeah, I would definitely say that about Coach Mulkey. That was one thing that she kept it real with me. I remember when last year she took me out the starting lineup and I had a conversation with her. And I was like, dang, like I really got humbled because I was underperforming. But she have a standard for me and she know what I'm capable of. So that's why every night I step on the floor, I tell her, like, I got you. Like, I got your back, you got my back. And that's how it's always been with Coach. I feel like coming here, I got to see a different part of myself. She makes you feel more confident, continue to push who you are, and just be as dominant as you could be on the floor. But overall, Mulkey is a great person. Like, I know media might portray her to be something else, but she is an amazing person. She's very nurturing. She has children of her own, so she always talk about her children and how much she loves us as if we were hers.
Yeah, if Mikaylah and Aneesah could answer this. Yo. Flau'jae spoke to it earlier, but playing the same team twice, trying to beat the same team twice. What do you take away from that first game and improve upon?
I think we obviously played a good game in that first game, but I think there's a lot of stuff we could clean up. You can always clean up rebounds. You can always clean up those extra possessions they had off those rebounds. You could clean up turnovers. You can clean up those transition points, just knowing where your man is and talking and communicating, which is what I think we've gotten extremely better at, just communicating with each other and being on the same page.
Yeah, I would say when we played in the Bahamas, we were a brand new team. That's one thing that like keeping me going, because I'm like, we really didn't know how each other played. We really didn't have that connection. And now seeing us click in March Madness right now, it's like, it could be scary. But of course, never take anybody for granted. Never come in and just think that you're going to win a game. You have to come in and put the work in.
Mikaylah, when you have a game like you had the other night, or maybe Stanford, do you sense it early, like in terms of tonight's my night, and to Aneesah and Flau'jae, do y'all sense something from her you can tell, okay, tonight Mikaylah's going to maybe take over?
I just know when the first shot goes in. I always say this, when the first shot goes in, I know it's going to be a good game for me, so yeah.
I would say, I never told 12 this, but it's something that I watch like in shoot around, and I always pay attention to all my teammates. I'm very observant, just in case if I have to come to them before a game and be like, are you okay? Or is like, checking up on them. And when 12 is having their own shooting time and shoot around, I know it's on. And that's kind of been 12 majority of the season, honestly. So just seeing them before the game and shoot around or sometimes the practice before.
Yeah, I think I kind of try to get her in the flow early. Like, I throw the ball to her and just be like, shoot it. Like, immediately shoot it. You know what I'm saying? Just because I know, like, she got to get those touches early. And when she feel confident, it's lights out. Nobody in the country could guard her. I say that all the time. And it's just good for her because when she get going and I get to get going and these get to get going, and it's just a beautiful sight. So I really think she's just that motor for us. And then she could create her own shot, but I think her passing is just so underrated, how she could get everybody involved. And I think that's one part of my game I've got better at because I've seen her do it so much in practice. I'm like, I want to learn how to pass like magic. So, man, I think she's been underrated. Not anymore, and she's an All-American now, but I still feel like it's more like she's just scratching the surface. So whenever it's her own night for 12 and she hit that first three or that step back, we in good shape.
Two more questions. We'll start right here.
Aneesah and Mikaylah, if you could answer this one. I'm so sorry about this microphone. Every time Flau'jae is up here, or like in games, she always seems to bring just kind of like a light to, like a joyful spirit to everything. What's it like being around her every day?
It's fun. Sometimes I might see Fly and I'm like, dang, she got a lot of energy. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, but it's great to be around that positive energy. Like, she comes in, she has this bubbly spirit. She's one of the most genuine person that I've came across in my life, and she's just a great person. I've seen her grow so much as well, like off the court, on the court, maturity-wise, being a better leader, and I'm just proud of her, honestly. I know that the sky's the limit for her, and she's going to be able to accomplish as much as she wants.
Yeah, to piggyback off Aneesah, I love Flau'jae. I mean, ever since, like, I always tell this story, ever since we came on our visit together, like, we knew that we were going to be teammates. We knew, like, we were going to do something, we were going to shock the world, pretty much. And I think that kind of speaks to the type of person she is, the bubbly person, the person that motivates you, the person that also keeps it real, but the person that's going to love on you at the end of the day. So that's just something that I really love about Flau'jae, is the person she is outside of basketball. Appreciate that.
Kendra Andrews, ESPN. Mikaylah, this question's for you. Flau'jae and Aneesah both talked a lot about kind of the team coaching team aspect and motivating each other. And so I'm just wondering, from your perspective, how is that to have, these players as your leaders, and also what do they do that really does motivate you to say, hey, I'm following you no matter what you say. I'm ready to run through a wall for you.
I think just their work ethic alone wants you to, like, it gives you that extra drive to be like, okay, I'm not finna be the one left behind, because they're working hard, they're doing everything that they can. And then we have a national championship winner right here. We have an All-American. Niece has everything but a national championship. So it's like, why not listen to them? They've done it. They've done it on the biggest stage. They've been here. So who am I to not listen to the people that's been in my same shoes?
All right. We'll say thank you to these three and let them go.